So here we have the first harbinger of spring, the earliest of all of our spring wildflowers. Believe it or not, that is a flower. That is the flower of the skunk cabbage. It's actually protected underneath that hood. Inside there you can maybe make out a little ball, which is the flowering parts themselves where the pollen and so forth grows. These plants grow in a swamp, as you can see around here. This is a seepage swamp in Arlington County, Virginia. And here is another flower. That spear-like looking thing next to it is the leaves which are going to unfold. These are giant leaf plants. And there's actually quite a few through here. And again, this is mid-January. But this plant is already flowering. Now, as you can imagine, there are very few pollinators out this time of year. So this plant doesn't get pollinated that often. But it also depends on a different kind of pollination scheme than many other plants do. This plant can actually generate its own heat, which means that it can melt through the snow. And some people theorize that the plant attracts pollinators not much because of its looks or its attractive smell. Skunk cabbage does not smell good, as you can probably imagine. Its scientific epithet is fetidus, to give you an idea. Fetid. It is a stinky type of thing. But the warmth. Insects need to warm up. They are cold-blooded, if you will. They can't perform their own heat. So they need a place like this. And this thing could actually melt the snow around it. It could be 20 degrees higher than what's around it. And so it might be an attractive place for an insect to hide away. It crawls into those deep recesses, picks up in its warmth, seeking warmth. It'll pick up pollen, and then it'll go visit another flower. It doesn't produce a ton of flowers, but those that get visited form a little dirty tennis ball. And you can kind of see what the ball shape is like inside there. And then that's how it starts. But it can reproduce vegetatively, and soon you can get a nice little patch of these things all through a swamp, kind of growing and spreading on their own. These are plants that get buried a lot in the with the rising and deposits of mud and detritus. So they can be pretty deep. You might only see a tiny little piece of it, but in reality, if you won't be able to dig it out very easily if it's very old, because it will have formed such a deep a column. The leaves can be a couple of feet long, gigantic. Very few things feed on the leaves because it's protected chemically by calcium oxalate crystals, and the calcium oxalate will chemically burn anything that tries to eat it. So few things will feed on the actual skunk cabbage itself. It used to be an old country lore trick to stick something of this in somebody's food, and kind of a nasty prank, but that person is going to get burned trying to eat this thing. This is, again, an obligate of swamp conditions. Forested, it doesn't like the full sun because of its huge leaves, but it will leave in these seepage swamps like this one's doing, and form nice little colonies. So, kind of a neat plant. Our very first flower of the year. Maybe not the best and most glorious thing to look at, but the skunk cabbage is indeed the first and earliest of all our spring wildflowers.